What's up, guys? Welcome to the Pettifoggers podcast with me, Bells of Steel, Lolling Tunks, and Cheers for Peers. As you no doubt know, we review a game once a week. This week we've decided to review Enshrouded, a relatively new release that has been made out on early access on Steam. Pierce is here to give you more of a description.
Yes, I am, and I've done so much research. It's a survival crafting and RPG game, combat game, and it's very similar to Valheim. So if you've played that, then I don't need to describe it because it's very similar.
But those that haven't played Valheim?
Yeah, so keep
For
going.
everyone who hasn't played Valheim, if you go and play Valheim, then you'll get a good understanding for what Enshrouded is like. No, so I think the backstory is you're the last of your kind, and you have to go and reclaim your land. So you go and you build a base. You then craft tools and weapons, and you go out and you fight baddies and monsters and bosses, and then keep evolving your base, keep evolving your weapons and the technology, and that's pretty much it. I don't know how far it goes because we're not too long into it, but it's, as Bell said, it's in early access, so I also don't know what updates they've got planned. I don't actually know too much about the game. I did watch a lot of YouTube videos yesterday, though, on how to do the farming and tips and tricks. They were mainly stand near a gold chest and then turn the game off and on again, and the gold chest will replenish, which I haven't bothered utilizing, and I probably won't because it sort of feels like it will break the game a little bit.
Oh, so you didn't mean literal farming?
Oh, you meant like...
No, I mean literal farming, like plants and things. Yeah.
Okay.
And then there was another video that was tips and tricks, and it was just turn it off and on again, and everything replenishes.
The one thing I know is that it's currently 30% of the map that is available and usable at the minute, and obviously, I believe as they go through the early access phases, they'll be allowing people to use more and more of the map, and obviously that'll be filled in more as they go.
Can I say I don't really fancy trying it off and on again thing because it took us long enough to get on the game in the first place. If we had that problem every time we tried to log on to the game,
that would be a tough.
It'd be quicker to wait for the farms just to replenish themselves.
Yeah, we did have we had issues trying to jump into each other's game. I didn't even mention it was multiplayer, did I?
Welcome to the Pettifoggers Petty Problems corner.
Yeah. So is it 16 players you can have on the same server, right?
Yeah.
And there was 4 of us playing last night. We played with Mayhem as well, and we struggled to all get into the same game. We struggled to find each other's games for the first 10 minutes, and eventually we all managed to jump onto my lobby after trying both
everyone else's
of yours first.
Everyone's.
So that was a little bit frustrating, but it is an early access, so I guess we have to sort of expect these things. But I think for the game itself, I didn't really find many bugs. Did you two find any bugs in the game itself, or have any gripes?
Bell's had a bug, but I think that was a Bell's problem more than the game problem with not upgrading.
User error, was it?
Not updating his drivers and not being able to open the game without it flashing it. Bugs itself, I don't actually think I came across that many.
I had a goat run off a cliff rather than letting me kill it.
I don't think that's a bug.
That's pretty petty of that goat, I thought.
That's fight or flight.
I don't think
it chose flight.
Did not fly, can confirm.
Hey, you know what? You are right, though. For an early access game, I did not come across that many bugs. Other than the getting into the game, which...
Yeah, that would probably be the most major bug, was trying to join the game off the bat. But no, as you say, not a lot of bugs. There definitely could have been. They do have like different things that all of our games you've seen, like gliding and stuff, where it can bug out on you. An example for me would be Pal World. Sometimes on Pal World, you'd be going like just gliding along maybe on one of your flying mounts, and then you're suddenly through the map because there was just a bit that maybe they missed or something when they were building it. They didn't, correctly lay down the map polygons. So, no, I have nothing to say about like the bug side of it. Is there really?
It was pretty polished. I'm not gonna lie, and I think like one thing we really enjoyed about it was, well, more me and Bells. Piers just had a problem with it. Was the building? Like the building was really fun.
Absolutely loved it.
Got a little bit carried away and started building and building and building and not actually doing any of the main quest line, but.
But
which was very
building
dull.
levels to you more than what Pierce was leveling, as Pierce was running around trying to do anything with the story. Lol and I were actually leveling quicker than him because
Probably because I spent half the time dead and waiting for you to try and come and help me, which you never
waiting
did.
for Mayhem to come and get you, because
Mayhem
I
was
thought, you know what, you went off on your own.
Yeah, you made your choice.
Yeah,
I was happy making my firefly lamp.
Yeah.
Thank you very
much. It plays
much.
like a survival game where it says you have to go and do this stuff, and you spend the first hour and a half just going, "I'm gonna keep building our house."
You're saying this to a Minecrafter.
I
like
evolve.
building.
You're saying to a fella that's played Valheim for a long time.
You get the technologies up, and you can get even better things for the house.
I was happy with the basics.
We can change it out. I feel like one thing I thought, Lo, was like we didn't even get into really what you can design wise when it comes to building, because from my experience of when we were building it, there doesn't seem to be like in other games they put like structural limitations, like you don't have enough support columns and stuff. It just seemed to be you could build whatever way you wanted, within your build area, which I thought was class. I really did. I love that. So I'd like to really expand out on our building because I think you can make some really cool looking stuff.
In a video I watched yesterday as well, you can cheese it so you can actually build into cliff faces. So you can build yourself like an underground, like bunker type base.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because you can like mine away the ground, can't you? That's what you were showing me yesterday, Baz.
Yeah.
So you can actually.
Yeah, but what you can do though is you can cheese it so you put a big block in the cliff face and then you take that block away and it gives you
it terraforms
nice rectangle. It terraforms.
Oh, so as in it'll delete so we wouldn't have to mine it ourselves. You would literally just place this block, delete that block, and that's it. That would be so much handier.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool.
Rid of that. So, they're gonna get rid of that bug, aren't they?
They might
this quick.
But yes, there's a lot of things that you can do with the game. There's loads of different aspects. We haven't even got to the farming yet, which I think will be good. In the video I watched on that, there's so many different plants that you can farm, and different types of soil and things as well. So I'm looking forward to jumping back in after we finish the podcast, actually, and trying to get closer to that. But in terms of the most positive parts of the game, what are we thinking? What were your favourite things about it?
Like combat. I did like the combat, so I did. They seem to have a lot of variety of weapons and stuff you can use. That was one of the things I enjoyed. But I always liked the gear development and stuff that you go through. But obviously you can make wands, bows, swords, maces, scythes. There's just seems I always prefer to have a wide variety of stuff. Then maybe later on they'll add 2 more as to what it'll do. Maybe certain things will have certain abilities and stuff,
The skill tree did seem very interesting. I didn't really get to do much of it. I just got so carried away with the building. Maybe I like that quite a bit. I think the skill tree, I'm intrigued by the different like assassins or mage or like and all that kind of stuff. So that's right up my tree.
Yeah,
the skill tree.
Right up your tree. I was going to mention the skill tree as well. It does seem pretty cool, and there's sort of bigger skills that you can develop that really help. So one of them was people that stand near you will heal by a certain amount of points every second or whatever, which is pretty important. So we can actually work together to build characters that sort of lean on each other, and we can create quite a cool dynamic with that, which is really well thought through. And I enjoy that. Another thing I liked was you actually have to go out and find people around the world that you can then bring back to your base that will help you. So the first person we found was a blacksmith, right? Which then opened us up to loads of different technology advancements that meant that we could now uh, have like ore refinement and make iron ingots and things like that. So I thought that was quite cool, and it just makes it a bit more interesting. You can have more people sort of kicking around in your base, I think. So yeah, I like that. It's a little bit different to other games, I think, that one.
I like the way when you were going out, obviously, like when you're going out, they have books and stuff throughout the world, which I began to notice. I was thinking just lower, get it for achievements, whatever. But there actually is a purpose to some of them where it'll provide you locations on the map that maybe you'll find a resource you won't have, or it'll actually explain, oh, if you go do this, you'll get a certain resource. Like specifically, I read a book, and all the book was just about a guy who was at a mine and told the mine was overrun by the baddies. And then, oh, the mine's here. If only I could get back to it. And you went back, and there was a chest and everything on your map, which I like. I think a lot of games will just throw lore at you with no real relevance to it, or you'll just click in, read the first couple, and then you'll never read it again. You'll just click through it. So it actually encourages you to read the books you come across that could help you improve in the game.
I still
Pretty
don't
cool.
bother. One thing that is worth sort of noting from that as well, though, is every area of the map has been like specifically made. So there are areas where there's like a little puzzle you need to get to a box, or there might be a secret hidden button or a passageway and things like that. So you need to sort of keep an eye out, which is quite nice. It's not just like, oh, let's copy and paste this area over here, or whatever. So that's quite cool. It seems like they've actually taken quite a bit of time and put a lot of effort into it, which I feel like games at the minute often don't feel like that.
They're so rushed to get them out, aren't they?
Mhm.
And especially for an early access game to be so detailed and polished. It was definitely interesting. I definitely enjoyed it.
An early access game that is, price point wise, not a lot of money in comparison to some of the other games that come out.
How do you
Um,
guys feel about that your skill level, your level, sorry, stays with you depending on what server you're in? So you can go into your own world and your player is still that level.
I think it's good. I think it's quite common as well.
Yeah.
I think New World did the same thing. You
Valheim
have
has it too.
World of Warcraft as well, right?
Not World of Warcraft.
No.
World of Warcraft, you pay to have a boost on it, so you pay like 20 quid if you swap servers. You can swap your character, but you're paying to swap it to a new server where you can boost a
Right.
brand new character on the server. There's loads of different ways they try and get
Okay.
money out of you.
But yeah, it seems like a pretty common thing to do, and it means like on Power World, we've got a couple of different servers that we're playing on, dependent on who's online at the time, and that frustrates me a little bit because I'm like, well, I've just got to graft again to get my levels up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do like that. What I would say as well is the leveling seems to take forever.
Yeah.
We only got to level 3 yesterday, and we were playing for a good few hours, weren't we?
I think it's 3-4 hours, like total playthrough time, about 3-4 hours. I'll double check that on the stream. So we'll. But yeah, no, about 3-4 hours, solid playthrough. And as I said, the thing that got me the most was I was literally just building and crafting, and as I built and craft, I seemed to get more experience than running around and killing stuff. I would say maybe a little bit more danger could be added into the first wee bit. Like, I'm not saying you add the mega monster from the end of the game, but I'm just saying have more spawns. Having more spawns at night. That's one thing I will say they do in Valheim, which we've compared this to, is Valheim, even in their easiest area, there will be a few more like raids coming in at you at night, maybe a bit more pressure put onto you, but that could also be it's early access. There's going to be a lot of differences and additions. So I do have one question for you, because that's one improvement I'd like to see. Because it's early access, is there anything you'd love to see them add to the roadmap, or anything you'd want to see added to the game, or you think, oh, this would make the game that bit better? You know?
I mean, just before we jump into that though, I don't. You keep saying that crafting is earn you more XP than going out and fighting stuff. I don't know if that is accurate because you got on the game about an hour before me because my game decided not to do anything and then I had to patch it. So
That is true.
just before you go spouting all your facts that turn out to be completely false,
I was level 2
we
when I
can't confirm
signed
that.
off, and I signed off
Just
quite
say
a bit
it with
before you.
confidence. Say it with confidence, pal.
But yeah, so it often takes a while. But yeah, so what do we want to see?
I
as
don't
it
feel like I've
progresses?
played enough yet because I jumped off a lot earlier than you guys yesterday. So I'm not sure what I haven't seen yet. So I definitely need to get a few more hours in on the game. But I don't know. I don't think there is anything it's missing right now. I just don't think I played enough of it yet.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, I'd like to just see like regular updates to it. At the moment, I see this as I'm going to play it for a week or two. I'm going to finish everything I can in early access, and then I'm never going to go back to it. Which is sort of what I've done with a lot of other games. I feel like Power World, I pretty much finished the Pokédex, whatever you want to call it, on that. I'm probably not
No,
going
you
to
can't
play
say
it.
that. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen down there.
I'm probably not going to play it anymore because there won't be an update for a while. Paleo was the same. I finished that within the first week or two. Really enjoyed it. I haven't gone back to it since because I finished it, and I mean, there's been updates since, but I don't.
You've missed the boat. It's just like
Yeah, I've done it. Do you know what I mean? And like, there's been loads of other games like that as well. Like Disney Dreamlight Valley has had its full release now as a whole new map and everything. But because I've just done everything you could in the first sort of few months of playing it, I'm not bothered. I don't really
It's
want to
just
go back and play it.
you binge it. You binge it until you're burnt out of it. You know what I mean? Like your Pal World, you were on loads as far as I could see, and you always had something new. But as you
Yeah,
say,
but then if something came out like whilst I was still enthusiastic about it, I'd keep playing it. But if there's not going to be an update on this for like 6 months, I won't be playing it.
you're not hanging around.
Yeah, there needs to be enough in the game to keep me occupied and entertained, to keep coming back every couple of days, or do you know what I mean? Like, I think Warzone's a good example, Call of Duty, because there's new seasons every, I don't know, month or so, and you sort of feel like you have to progress along the battle pass and whatever. Whereas it's a game where you can probably do everything in a week and then never touch it again.
Call of Duty's having their update. Their season 2 soon, aren't they? On thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So there's always like there's always regular updates for it every sort of month and a half or something like that. Or, so it sort of feels like it keeps dragging you back in. Whereas, I don't know. I always find with games like this, I'll as you said, binge them and then never go back to it.
See, I will stay on like a grind sort of game. Like, how long did I play Farming Simulator after no one else had interest in it? Because I was just like, I've got to get my crops 3 days time. That's when those crops are, you know what I mean? Like, as long as I can feel like a personal sense of achievement as I go along, and like there's no real end goal. Whereas a lot of games that we've been playing, or you do play, there is an end goal or an ending as such. Like for you on Pal World, you've got most of the pals. You don't really need to. But what are you continuing on for? You're not really a base builder kind of person, you know. Whereas me and Lulz love a good base, sweet base designs, quality.
Do.
I do enjoy building bases, but I like to go and like play the game first. You guys didn't even leave the base; you just stayed in it rather than go, "Oh, I wonder what this game's about." It was no. I've seen there's a building mechanic, and I've got some stones.
But we just took a big interest in one of the main features of the game.
Have a little test of the water, and then come back and deep dive.
Do you know what's funny? We should really tell people that, like, Pierce was properly yelling at me and Lulz to come help him because he was going to die. And we were like,
and they're just stood in the base going, I don't know if this roof's going to fit. Actually, try playing the game. How about that? I'm in jeopardy over here.
We all
I'm telling you now, I'm telling you now. As soon as Lols starts dying and asking for help, I'm not going.
Lols, let me
He
say,
did not even. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm just going to put this stuff back and then I'll be on my way. And then what? 3 minutes later, when I get saved, I look on the map. She's still just stood in the base doing nothing.
I was like, oh, Mayhem's already over there. I'm just going to
No, he
him
wasn't.
to it.
No, and I said, guys, I think we should all come because there's quite a few people here. It's the
Mayhem
main
came
story.
back to the base, and I was like, oh, oh dear.
I ended Mayhem was there. And we were like, oh.
He did not go.
Let me just say,
talk about team morale.
Let me just say, this loot goblin here, by the way, Pierce, when you were away, lol, I didn't realize how loot hungry that man was until we were.
Oh yeah, you fucked me, guys. I'm going to ruin the game for you.
I mean, my backpack was full, so I was like, "Oh, got a clear bit of space." Pierce, yeah, as he steals all the stuff, all the good
stuff. My
stuff.
backpack wasn't full, was it?
God.
I'm the loot goblin. You had the full backpack, mate.
Loot goblin, just stealing all the good loot. Oh, horrendous. My backpack.
Well, you weren't going to use it unless it was
supplies.
A shovel or something. Yeah.
Loads of building supplies.
Okay, what about things in the game that you weren't particularly fond of, if there is anything?
All damage.
I've got.
I find
as always,
common killer.
As always, Lol's biggest gripe with the game is her own just negligence.
Within 2 minutes of being in the game, Belle's had to come and rescue me because I fell.
It wasn't long at all.
And it wasn't that far that I thought I fell, but the full damage is real.
It was enough. It was also like, Lol went, let me just say, when you start this game, it's a nice big open room, opens out into a really picturesque big view of it, of the world, and a very clear cut road that you have to follow,
path, isn't there?
Very
but
apparent
I saw
path
a mushroom.
Tooltips and everything for you to get. Lol went the complete opposite way and just took herself partway down a cliff, and then she was like, "Oh, I can't get back up here. Oh, well, I'm sure I could slide the rest." That's how she died, like just by not following the clear-cut path. What was going through your mind? Why did you go that way? Was it just for the mushroom? Oh my god, the mushroom alone.
I saw mushrooms and I was like, oh, there's something down there. And I walked to it and I was like, oh, it's a mushroom. And then I looked back and I was like, I should not have come down here.
Let me just say, mushrooms are a common as muck item that you can get.
I didn't know that at the time.
You should have really.
I just saw a red thing on the floor and I was like, oh, what's that?
Okay, Bells, anything you didn't like about the game, or just that you weren't very good at it either? Is that the biggest issue?
I kind of find the like we done a tiny tower dungeon thing, and while we were doing it, I just thought it was a bit boring and empty. No, like there's puzzles and stuff, and there's like traps, but the traps we ran into were just spike traps. The puzzles were fairly straightforward. I just found that boring. It's more a gripe of if you're going to do something big and interesting like that, because it took you to the top of the tower at the end, you could see everything. I was expecting there to be a boss battle. I was expecting there to be some really complex puzzle or something. But once again, maybe I'm just setting my expectations too high, as once again, it is a early access game.
I think we're still quite early in the game as well. I don't know if it is going to get more difficult the further we go. Yeah, but valid, to be fair. For me, it was the imbalance of weapons, because we all found out pretty quickly that the wand does so much more damage than anything else, and
doesn't require stamina. Don't forget to put that.
Or ammo. So
it doesn't have ammo.
You can either use a bow and arrow that you have to craft arrows for, which does half the damage, or you can use a staff that you have to go and find spells for that have a very limited amount of uses, or you can just get your Wingardium Leviosa on and flick a stick at everyone. And
just go back and forth the whole way. Woo.
And it does so much more damage than anything else, and you can hold a shield at the same time and defend yourself. Yeah, it just, for me, that needs to balance out a bit, because at the minute, I feel like everyone's skills are going to be pointed towards sort of weapon type rather than sneaking around or wanting to be hand-to-hand combat or being an archer or whatever. We're all just going to go for
Yeah,
No,
I think
and that is it.
mage just going on mage route because it's so strong now, and there's obviously as you go through the talent tree, there's more and more powerful abilities. One thing I do like about the talent tree, sorry, going back, was the fact you can do in between talents. So like you can be a mage or you can be a tank, but in between you can be a battle mage. So a little bit of best of both worlds, and we can go between, which I like. Pretty cool aspect to the game, just to say. But yeah, imbalance is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's the biggest thing for me. But
I would
okay.
agree. And the monsters as well. There doesn't seem that many different types of. I don't know whether it's because we've only discovered one section, whether there's more the further you out, but the monsters seem very similar.
I would
The only
lean
monsters
to
you
we're very-
discovered, Lols, were the sheep and rabbits that ran through the base every now and then.
I would lean towards we're probably very early on in the game, even though we're like 4 or 5 hours in. There's only those what we've seen as the enshrouded ones, the orc or goblin-y type of guys, and wolves really are the three main ones we've seen thus far.
Sure.
Yeah, to be fair, from the other gameplay I've seen, I haven't actually seen any other types of enemy, but
there's no kind of like bosses or anything like that.
We fought boss. You two weren't there. It was just me and Mayhem that did it.
Yeah.
You two were still building the base, genuinely. I can't remember what the boss was like. It was just like a bigger version of the enemy you normally face.
I'm just saying, you were all happy coming back and finding that base fully kitted out, having the crafting tables and stuff ready, having the rest
Crafting
of
tables was the first thing we did.
Our
Crafting tables
quality
were already there.
fireplace. We made a really nice fireplace.
I didn't mind being the homemaker, staying home.
We're happy. Let you and Mayhem run
dinner
around
on the table. Yeah.
Quite content.
So would you play it again, Bells?
Yeah, 100% I'd play it again. I feel like I'm too like we're so early on. There's so much more left to see. I think as it's been very polished so far, and it's really impressed me. Considering we paid £20. £20. It was on offer on Steam. Now that offers went off, and it's now £25. But it was £20 or £22 for discount as their release day. Give the game a go because they obviously knew they were releasing some in a similar time frame as Pal World.
Fair enough. Lols?
Yes, I will play it again. Will I play it much? I don't know. It just feels very much like every other game at the moment. Every game seems to Power World is very similar makeup. Minecraft is very similar makeup. What was the one that we played a few weeks ago? They just feel a little bit the same, and I think I'll play it for a few weeks, but I will eventually just drift back to Minecraft.
Yeah, I think I'm in a similar boat. I'll play it until I feel like I've done everything, or I'm getting bored of doing the same things over and over again. But I am looking forward to playing it again. As I said, when we finish this podcast, I'm going to jump on for a couple of hours. So yeah, I'll play it again. Ratings and Lols, what are you giving it out of 10?
I'm going to give it a 7. I feel it's very polished for an early access game. I'm really impressed at the lack of bugs. However, it just feels like it needs more. It just needs more to it. I don't know. It just feels like a copycat game, like everything. I've played so many of these games now.
Yeah. Elves?
So I would be the same as Lol. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I feel like this game, like other games, like Valheim, where it lets itself down by maybe putting a bigger emphasis on end game content rather than early game content. And in my opinion, I feel like you want your early game content to be more filling, more enticing, and just focus on the end game content as you go. Because I feel like the same effect of Valheim, where there's not a lot happening in first area or second area. The same way Valheim has it is happening on Enshrouded. Whereas I think they should be making more interesting, more enticing in those first two areas to keep people's attention on the game. But I once again, polished game. Hope to see an improvement as they go along.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, I'm going to give it 6. It's solid, but there's nothing groundbreaking, and it really depends on what updates come out and when. Yeah, like another example of a game similar is like New World. I know it's not as similar, but yeah, New World was great. It was a massive title when that came out, and again played it for a couple of weeks. Sort of felt like I did everything I could, and then there wasn't an update for ages after that, and I never really went back to it. So yeah, I think that's where it's at. It's at 6 at the minute. I'm hoping it can go up, but it depends on updates.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay.
What have we been playing this week?
Yeah. What else you been playing, Bells?
I've been playing World of Warcraft Standard, but I've also been playing Tiny Tina's Wonderland and Devour. Both solid games. One for absolutely bricking it on. You can decide which one that was. And one for just absolute hilarity and a fantastic game that I'm shocked and appalled that I missed it on its first release because it's just absolutely brilliant and I'm loving it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Tiny Tina's Wonderland when it first came out, but I didn't have anyone to play it with, which was a little bit sad. So fuck you. Lars, what have you been playing?
Minecraft. I've been teaching myself how to play chess. Yeah, that's it. I've been just playing Minecraft and stuff. What have you been doing, Piers, except for eating cake?
Yeah, I ate some cake. I'm gonna take a minute to announce my retirement from EA FC 24 because EA are
This is
scumbags.
groundbreaking.
EA are scumbags, and I hope this somehow finds its way to EA. You are just the lowest of the low.
Why?
I saved up packs for so long.
I was going to say
Team of the Year players. I spent 2 hours opening 100 packs, and to find out that they changed the rate that these Team of the Year players are coming out of packs, so no one backed them. Which is a scumbag move. They were easier to pack earlier in the week, but then when the full team came out, they dropped the rate that you could actually get them without saying anything. So everyone opened all their packs and got no one. And yeah, I'm not going to play the game anymore. Yeah, screw those guys. So yeah, I spent 2 hours opening packs and then shut the game down and have no intention of going back to it.
I watched that for 2 hours as well. And I was like, I have no idea what's going on. He just seems very angry.
Hey, flags were coming up on screen.
Yeah, I did see flags. Yeah. I love my flags. Yeah. I did recognise them, but yeah.
Because when you open a pack, it shows you the nationality of the player, and then the position that they play, and then the club. I think something like that. So yeah, that's always fun seeing the flags and going, ooh. They're from there.
Who's this?
But yeah, so yeah, I did that. I've been playing a little bit of Football Manager. What else have I been playing? That's pretty much it. I haven't played much. But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it. What's coming out next week, Lars? You've done your research for once.
I have. I think this one's been well anticipated. I will not be buying it for the price of that it is, but Suicide Squad is coming out this week. It is going to be £60, which actually, the more I think about it, is like a standard price, isn't it?
It's a AAA game, to be fair.
Yeah, standard AAA price, but yeah.
Yeah, this is the older age of me now thinking, oh god,
back in my day
it was £20 for a game.
But I think that's a fair point. Like the standard of games that are coming out at the moment and how much you can enjoy them, AAA games aren't as
I think
they're not must buys anymore. You
Yeah.
can get more enjoyment out of a game that's free or costs £10.
I think there's more hit and misses when it comes to AAA titles, as you're saying. Like, there's more misses and hits when it comes to
It's
AAAs,
because you're
other than
spending all that money and you're expecting world
Yeah,
class
it's too much
games, and then you're
expectation.
really, really disappointed when you don't get that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know. I just seen the price on Steam, but to request for a digital deluxe package, 90 quid is insanity to me. That is the pre-purchase price of the digital deluxe package for Suicide Squad, and I just want to know what are you getting? Because, like,
There's
at least.
in-game purchases as well, so
Oh
that
my
cost can
god!
go through the roof because you get there's 4 playable characters, right? So there's
Yeah,
going to be new skins for that. You get skins for your
uh,
guns and things as well. So I think you get skins for your guns, but there's new like outfits you can get for your characters and stuff.
Is this online
From what I was
multiplayer?
hearing anyway, you can do it as a group, yeah. Which when I looked at it, I was like, wow, this actually looks really cool. But when you actually break it down and look at the gameplay and things, I don't think it's. I'm not going to buy it anyway.
No.
But when it was
I would
announced
have
and the
to.
trailer came out, it looked cool.
Yeah, I would have to wait and see. Like the story of it, the story idea of it is pretty cool, but I'd have to wait and see what the gameplay is like, because I'm not buying another superhero game that has the most repetitive content or game mechanics ever. I don't know
Yeah,
why
that's
none of them seem to be able to do anything new and interesting, or develop a game as well as what the Spider-Man team does. Like, just see what they're doing. Do the same thing with another character.
if they
Anyone
did
I'd
that
be
as a
coming around.
multiplayer game, I would be all over it.
Hmm.
Aye, 100%.
That's why
But
I
yeah, like I said,
asked, but I
yeah,
wouldn't.
yeah,
I wouldn't
like
spend 60 quid on a game that I'm probably going to play for a week and give
Yeah.
up.
yeah, but like I said to you guys before, I was watching a review from the YouTube channel Game Ranks, which go and check those guys out because they are very good. They reviewed the Suicide Squad game, and they just said it was very repetitive and probably not worth it. It was similar to the Gotham Knights game that came out, which didn't exactly go down particularly well.
Mhm.
And what was the Marvel? There was another Marvel
Uh,
game,
Guardians of the Galaxy. Another
no,
one would be there was
the Avengers one.
yes, the Avengers one too, which was so repetitive.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, likened to those two games, and
Yeah,
they again AAA games, a lot of expectation, and
yeah,
fell very short.
yeah.
Yeah, disappointing, but okay. What other games coming out then, Lars?
I saw, for anybody that enjoys kind of like a single player story based and enjoyed it, it looks very similar to. It's gone. It's gone from my mind. What did we say?
And
Like
it's
everything.
gone.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Miss.
Little misfortune.
Little misfortune.
Yeah,
There's a game
right.
called Clem coming out, which is a single player story based game. It looks a little bit creepy, a little bit like Little Misfortune did. So I know
By
Little
the
Misfortune.
same
It
people.
looks. Is it?
No, is it? That's what I'm saying.
I
Did you do
don't
any
know.
research?
No, of course I didn't. I just know that Little Misfortune was really popular, especially like in the streaming world and people playing it on stream and watching along, and there was a really good story base to it. So I don't know whether that might be quite popular. It seems to be one of the kind of billboard titles on Steam at the moment as well.
Doesn't look like it's by the same. No, it's not.
No. But that might be
Yeah, similar
interested
sort of style.
for any kind of story. It doesn't have a price yet, so I don't know how much, or I didn't see a price. It just said add to wish list, so I'm not really sure. And then the only other game that I could see maybe that's coming out next week is Inquisitor, which looked a bit more of like a darker version. It looked like the same mechanics as the likes of Assassin's Creed and stuff like that in terms of like the role-playing kind of style and the movement and everything. But it looked a bit more darker, like the concept. But that looked quite interesting. But yeah. That is pretty much all I could see for the next week. I think there's a bit more coming out as we start to head into February a little bit more, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that game as well. It's by the same people that made Tropico, which
Ah,
seems weird.
Oh, right.
that is strange.
Weirdness.
Do you see what I mean by the Assassin's Creed kind of like the movement and stuff? don't
Yeah,
you?
I'm looking at the stuff they've made. They've made other games that are similar styles, but I don't think any of them were particularly well thought of. But
I loved
might be-
Tropico, but it does not look like a Tropico style game.
Oh yeah, no, Tropico was, but I mean the similar style to the game that this is, that sort of Assassin's Creed style. They've done other games like it before, I think, but none that I've ever heard of. But yeah, fair enough.
100%.
So just one thing left to do then, Lars.
Signature sign off.
The signature sign off, which you said this week you are going to, and you said you've been practicing this, speaking it backwards. You said you're going to speak every word backwards and every word in the sentence backwards. So crack on. And what people on that have downloaded it or whatever have done is they can put this into rewind afterwards and listen to it, and it will perfectly sync up, is what Lowe's has said. It will perfectly sync up to what the
line up.
signature outro is. So yeah, crack on, Lowe's.
For anyone on the audio listeners, she is currently staring at her ceiling as if it's going to reveal the answers to her on how to do something backwards.
She's written the words up there. And she's sniffing her controller.
This is my mini little stress controller.
You need that, yeah?
I do when it gets to this bit.
It smells like lavender and rainbows.
Like and subscribe.
Sorry, that's everything
Forget,
forward.
don't.
Like and subscribe, forget, don't. So these words are all.
Seems like it's in the right. It seems like it's in the right.
It sounds like
I was
you're
trying to
just
say,
mixing the
don't
words
forget
up.
to subscribe and like. Like and
Yeah, but you
subscribe.
normally say like and subscribe.
Forget, don't.
You realise that
Like
you're saying
if.
don't normally, right? You realise you're saying all these words the way they're meant to be said.
Yeah, but they work that way backwards as well.
No, they
Don't. Hang on. Don't forget
Don't repeat to nod.
Oh, God.
You literally went in the right order.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. I've said all of this backwards, and you will be amazed when you put it in rewind.
Subscribe and like. Don't. I put that in real order. Don't like and subscribe.
Don't like and subscribe. Okay, well, we just won't have an outro this week then, because Lowe's has clearly not put the time and effort in that she needs to. But yeah, we'll be back again next week with another episode, and maybe Lowe's will have polished it off by then.
Maybe.
Thanks for watching the podcast. This has been Pettifoggers Podcast.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Is a real piece of shit. Do. Yeah.